Come to find out, Maddie Soto never made it to school. So off the bat, the police started investigating, and they did a really good job. I have to say, Florida police did a very good job on this whole situation with Jenn Soto and Maddie Soto. Instantly, they went in and they figured out something was strange. And they instantly took Stephan Stern's and Jenn Soto's phones, and they used Celebrate technology to take everything off of the phones. When they looked into Stephan Stern's phone, they found 60 images, okay, of him doing terrible, terrible things to Maddie Soto, okay? But they still didn't know if Maddie Soto was alive or dead at this present time. All they knew is that Stephan Stern's was a sicko and he was having relations with this girl since she had just turned 13 from the time she was 8 years old. Okay, I mean, talking about horribly disgusting dude, like, and you know, he had so many images of CP. We're just going to say CP, right? So they go to Jenn Soto and they tell her in an interrogation, hey, did you know that this man was having relations with your daughter, right? And of course, Jenn Soto says, no, I didn't know. I didn't know. And they asked her, do you want to prosecute this man for doing these things to you? We can't hear you, right? You can't hear me? Okay, y'all should be able to hear me fine. Turn your hearing aids up. Okay, put them on full blast. Just put it on plus 12. So they told Jenn Soto, you have sound, you're fine. Okay, we can hear you. All right, that scared me because I went 20 minutes trying to fix the sound, and now people are like, I can't hear you. You may not be watching the video live, and they're watching a little the beginning, and you know it had no audio. Okay, so they asked Jenn Soto, hey, you want to prosecute? And she said, ask the police, can she not prosecute at this time and decide to prosecute later? What type of mother says something like that when their 8-year-old daughter has been abused from the time she was 18 to the time she was 13? And they asked her, do you think Stephan would hurt your child? And she says, no, okay, that he wouldn't kill my child or hurt my child. But yet she didn't look at the big M word, you know, the relations with the 8-year-old to 13 as hurting her daughter. Sick, disgusting, foul ass woman. Okay. Like, oh my God, how the hell could you say these things into the police? So yeah, they asked her questions. They told her that, hey, listen, if you tell us the truth, we'll give you immunity, but you have to be honest with us, no lying. So they asked her, do you have Stephan Stern's new phone number? And she tells the police, nah. Why, she is actually literally sitting there texting him. Okay. She leaves the police station. She calls his dad and tells his dad, hey, you need to get Stephan a lawyer. All right. A lawyer. To a man, why would somebody do this, right? My belief is this. The whole time, Jenn Soto knew her daughter was having sexual relations with this man, okay? She made her daughter that night go sleep in the room with her boyfriend because she needed rest, okay? She needed rest. This is one of those cases that will make you literally vomit in your mouth. And to think Jenn has immunity and is not being prosecuted for anything that happened to Maddie Soto, okay, So let's move forward. Now we know Stephan Stearns is a monster, but they still don't have Maddie's body at the time. So they go out on the news and they say, hey, we're looking for this Lincoln that's driving around, beat up Lincoln. And if you've seen this car, we need to know about it. Call any tips into the tip line. Well, a vehicle was driving down a back road in a country setting and seen a Lincoln with a flat tire. And they remembered this. They remember seeing a man on the side of the road changing the tire. So police, of course, on that tip, went to that location where they believed the man was seen changing the tire, and they started the search. Within 100 yards from that location, they found the body of Maddie Soto. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Jenn said they took her to school and she was wearing shorts and a green hoodie. But when they found her, she was wearing jeans. She wasn't even wearing what Jenn had said. Okay? So, of course, you know, they arrest Stephan Stearns for the child P, which he has court coming up this month, which is what I will be there covering live for you guys, so we know all the ins and outs and all that good stuff. And they charged him with the death of Maddie Soto, which that trial is set for a later date. Some people believe he's going to take a plea deal because he faces death. So, to avoid death, he probably is going to do like Brian Kohlberger did and take life in prison without the possibility of parole. But right now, he's still trying to defend himself against these CP charges, which carries up to life in prison. He just on the CP charges alone, he will never, ever see the light of day or get out of prison. So he's done for the rest of his life. Either way we look at this, Stephan Stearns will never, ever be a free man walking the streets ever again, which is thank God. And because, you know, I don't believe that Maddie Soto was the first child that this man hurt. Okay. I believe he had been doing this probably to other children. And for somebody to be, you know, not only doing it, but videoing it, taking pictures of it. And some people believe he was selling these things on the dark web. It's just a really, really disgusting case. The most triggering thing about this is they gave immunity to Jenn Soto, this mother, right, that knew her child was being emmed, okay, and that man was doing horrible things to her. And when they found Maddie's shoes, one of them was in a dumpster and one of them was in Jenn's bedroom. So you got to think to yourself, how did she not know that this was going on in her house? How did she not know that allegedly her daughter was being unalived in just the other room? Didn't hear none of it. And here's the thing, when she was missing, Stephan used her car to go back to the crime scene. Okay. So he was one of these, you know how they say the perpetrator always returns to the scene of the crime? He was one of these people that went back there to see where she was at. Now, he didn't bury Maddie. He just laid her underneath some trees. Okay. Thank God he didn't bury her, or she may not have been found. But either way, he was going down, right? He was going down for life because of just the CP photos alone. Now, I don't know if Jenn is going to be in court on the CP charges. I'm praying to God she is, so Dolly can hit her with I'm going to say some things to her when she's walking into the courtroom. You can believe that, okay? So y'all better tune in for that one, because as soon as she steps out into public, I got some shit to say to this woman. Okay, did my camera just freeze? Okay, now my camera froze. My microphone's breaking, I think. Okay, am I back? Am I back? Okay, I'm back now. Damn, I'm having microphone problems. I'm having camera problems. Get her, Dolly. She's so sick. You're right. And I'm going to say something for each and every one of you. Okay. Trust that. I am taking a special trip to Florida. You know, I hit Corey Bixby with Where's the Baby. I hit Karen Reed with the You Gonna Look Good in Orange. Harmony Montgomery's dead. Adam Montgomery, he never showed up. I couldn't hit him with nothing. He was a coward, right? So you can believe there's going to be some things said to Jenn Soto when she shows her face. And if she don't show her face, we may have to accidentally be in the same location at the same time, okay? Why does my camera keep freezing? First it was my microphone, now it's my camera, and it always freezes when I got a goofy ass look on my face, all right? What the hell is going on? Today is not my day, all right? Jenn Soto and Stearns make me literally vomit. Yes. Now here's the big thing about this, guys, is she never denounced this man. Okay. It's YouTube, not you. Okay. It's YouTube, not me. No, it's my camera. I heard it turn off. So give me 1 second. This is a nightmare. Good Lord. Bam! I'm back. I told you it was my camera. I don't know what's going on with it. Don't fall. I'm definitely not going to fall. Them hackers are hacking your stuff. No, my stuff is getting old. I've been using the same setup for a couple years now, and it's getting time that I need to replace everything. I was talking to PJ about that the other day. I was like, look, I'm probably going to have to replace my computer, my mixers. I mean, stuff only lasts so long, right? So cords only last so long. So I'm in the process of knowing that I'm going to have to replace everything, you know, the main components of my studio, because I use everything until it dies, right? I've had the same camera. I haven't upgraded my camera in years. So I've used this camera for 3 years. It ain't even like that great of a camera, but I still use it. I'm like, I'm going to use it till it breaks, right? The mixer, I've been having problems with that mixer for the last 6 months. We need to make some Dolly dollars. There you go. Jump on the Dolly train. It goes to a good home, right? My plane ticket to Florida. It's going to cost a little change to scream at Jen. Okay, it ain't free to be like, where's the baby? Okay, but I can't hit her with where's the baby because we know where Maddie is. I want to hit her with the why, Jen, why. Put the Sony there. The Sony don't hook up to the computer the same way as the Canon does, right? It's different plugs and different things. And I don't know if I have the things to set up the, I know I don't, because I bought the power cord to keep the Canon on all the time. And my Sony runs off of batteries. So I could stream for about 30 minutes on my Sony and it would turn off. Whereas the Canon's plugged into the wall and it runs the whole time. I would have to buy the accessories to the Sony, my good Sony, and it would be a lot clearer camera quality, but I don't have all the stuff I need to do that. We got you, Dolly. We will help you upgrade your equipment and such. I definitely need it. Definitely the mixer part of everything is what's really acting up. Like I have to reset the computer, just to get it to work. And then like I did that and then I went live and then boom, the mixer went out. Right. So it is what it is. So I got this GalaxyCon Dolly Equipment Fund. Thank you. Right. Thank you. See, and it's skipping like it's not even recognizing the audio right now. I don't know. It sucks because I'm in the middle of the travel and stuff getting ready to kick off. So I'm in the process of looking for plane tickets to get to. I got to go to Carolina first. And then I got to go. Hold on, guys. I think Amazon's here. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I was expecting a package. So, like I said, I got to shoot to Carolina because I'm going to GalaxyCon. And then from GalaxyCon, I'm flying to Florida. Now, opening statements will take place, I believe, the 26th or something like that. So that's a Friday. Then the 27th, 28th, 29th, I'm in Carolina. Okay. The 25th. Okay. So the 26th, 27th, 28th, I'm in Carolina. Then the 29th, I will be in Florida for day 2 of the Stephan Stearns trial for the CP. Okay. So I would be there day 1, but I'm a big horror movie fan. And one of my favorite horror movies, PJ for my birthday got me a meet and greet. Thank you.
Thanks for all your work.
Thank you. PJ got me a meet and greet with Art the Clown, okay, which is one of my favorite dudes from the movie Terrifier. He's from Terrifier 2 and 3. So I will get to meet Art the Clown, which is really cool, but it makes me show up to court a day late. It just happens to fall all at the same time. Okay. So I will be there for day 2 of the Stephan Stearns trial. Now I may be streaming it from GalaxyCon day 1. Okay. I may be live with you. I'm definitely going to be live with y'all, but I'm going to be at GalaxyCon, not at court. Then the second day, because opening statement starts on a Friday, that Monday, I will be in Florida for the trial. So I'm going to fly out of Carolina and into Florida to cover the trial with you guys live. I just want to see that look on Stephan Stearns' face when they give him 150 years for this CP charge, and pray to God that Jenn Soto shows up, which I think she will, right? I truly think they're going to bring her in as a witness against him, right? And she will be there. That's what I'm thinking. Now, I'm not positive. I'm hoping that we get to take a look at this lady because she's one of these people, like I said, she never denounced Stephan Stearns, okay? His trial is only 4 days. They're saying 4 or 5 days. So I will be there for the whole trial, just not opening statements. Okay. Opening statements, I will be in North Carolina. I just got to North Carolina because that next day is GalaxyCon. And following day after that, I meet Art the Clown. And then it's just a matter of flying out to Florida. Okay. So I'll be a couple days at GalaxyCon, and then I'll be in Florida for the rest of that week. And that'll cover his whole trial because by Friday, his trial will be over. So I'll be there Monday. By Friday, it'll be wrapped up. And then, of course, I'm coming back to Virginia from there. It just all happened to fall around the same time, Will the opening statements be televised? I believe so. And if they are, okay, you know me, I have my hotspot box. So no matter where I'm at, I'm able to broadcast, right? So most likely I will broadcast to you guys the opening statements live from GalaxyCon, okay? It'll be comic book people and true crime, right? But I'll bring my laptop and everything with me so I can set up somewhere because they usually do it at a big convention center. And the last one I went to was in Richmond, and they had internet there, right? It was messed up because me and PJ was trying to stream from Richmond, and we couldn't get our phones to work. But if we would have just went to the settings and looked for Wi-Fi spots, they had an open Wi-Fi, so you could get on the Wi-Fi at the hotel. And I think it was a Marriott or something like that. They usually have it at like a fancier place. So hopefully I'll have internet. If not, I'll take my hotspot box and I will broadcast from there and go over everything from the trial that day and even from that location. because I don't meet Art the Clown till the next day. So the first day I'm there is I could honestly the only problem was I could go there and come back, but then it's just an extra plane ticket, right? Which is a whole bunch of extra money that I don't see no point in spending just for opening statements if I can broadcast the opening statements from there. Thank you so much. USA, thank you. So hopefully, you know, he gets 150 years, 200 years for the child. And the reason I'm going for the CP trial is, and not the murder trial, is because I believe for the murder trial, he is going to take a plea deal. Okay. He's going to take a plea deal. And I think around the same time, the Brian Kohlberger sentencing is taking place. Okay. What day is that, PJ? I know the Brian, it's like I can't do it all, right? Because it's the time frame, everything falls right on top of each other. So I won't be able to make it to Idaho because I'm going to be in Florida. I'm right, PJ? The 23rd. Okay, his is the 23rd. Okay, and I can't get into the courtroom. So I think I'm skipping the Kohlberger. I will be Carolina, Florida. Yeah, I ain't making it to the Kohlberger. Come to Canada and drill the shit out of Daniel and Malehya. LOL. I still ain't got my passport. To be honest with you, I haven't even went down there and filed for my passport yet. I got my real ID so I could fly, but I will take care of that. I may go take care of that Monday, put in for my passport, right? Because this is see, honestly, I didn't think Jack and Lily. All right, we'll jump to Jack and Lily right quick. I didn't think Jack and Lily Sullivan was going to go this long. To be dead honest with you, I thought this was a pretty cut and dry case of foul play. I mean, anybody and their mama could see it, right? I don't know how the Nova Scotia police didn't. All right. I just don't know how they didn't come to the conclusion that there's some foul play involved in this, right? Because I seen it from like a mile away. I was like, okay, this is complete foul play. So I thought it had been done, but apparently not. Okay, apparently not. Dolly, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good. They should have already been put in jail. Absolutely. Right. So if we look at what's going on in that whole case of, you know, it's been over 2 months now of these kids missing, no sightings of them. We got a bunch of loons, and I said it, running, pushing this narrative that the kids are alive. And some people believe that shit. Not me. I've been in true crime too long to believe anything like that, right? That's like believing Sebastian Rogers is alive. Is there anybody in here that believes Sebastian Rogers is still alive, right? Everybody in the beginning thought he was alive. Oh, they put him in a home. They hid him somewhere. They took him to Alaska. I heard so many things in that case, but really, Sebastian's gone. Just like Jack and Lily is. I hate to be the bearer of bad news and Mr. Doom and Gloom, but these kids are no longer with us. Any of the kids you see on my screen right here, none of these kids are with us. Of course, we know Maddie's already been laid to rest. She's had a funeral. Jack and Lily, I don't know if we will ever find these small children, be honest. I believe that somebody may have buried these kids. Sebastian Rogers, I don't know what happened to him. He just vanished off the planet, right? And he's not a small little kid. He just gone. Some people believe that he was burned in this mysterious fire that took place at a family member's construction job site, right? I've heard that. I mean, there was this dumpster fire, but fire usually don't 100% completely get rid of you. Anybody remember Making of a Murderer, Stephen Avery's? And, you know, they found the girl that did the Auto Trader. They had wrapped her in tires and they burned her. I know it's gross, right? It's pretty bad. I believe Sebastian's still alive. I don't believe Jack and Lily is alive. How the hell do you believe Sebastian Rogers is alive? When his mama Joe dirted him and they didn't care, that should have been the biggest red flag. The same red flags that are taking place in the Malehya case, right? Malehya ain't your normal mother. Oh, hell no. Hell to the nah. Okay? For people that believe that, listen, I still love you guys, right? I just disagree with you. I just 100% disagree with you that, you know, it's silly to even think that. The odds of these kids are being alive right now are astronomical. You got better chances of winning the damn Powerball 5 times than these kids ever coming home safe. You got better chances of being bit by a shark walking down the beach. Okay, not even in the water. You got better chance of being struck by lightning on a sunny day. That's how astronomical the odds of these kids are alive is. You got damn Durwood. You can't get an open fire above 160 degrees, and that would take, what did that say? It moves so fast. That's what it would take to burn remains. Now, if you build a way to fan the fire, okay, like how you would forge steel, you could. You still couldn't burn the teeth and stuff like that, right? But you could burn remains almost to nothing, especially if you had a way to fan the fire. You know, if you hook up some type of air pump to the fire and just keep feeding the fire, it'll get hot enough to burn a body completely. Just the way they did it didn't.
Actions and non-actions. The hope tells Sebastian is not with us. Disappointed face emoji.
Wicked curves, Katie's actions and non-actions, leaving the home tells me Sebastian is not with us. Amen to that. And I agree with you 110%, Katie. Now let's stay on before we get to Sebastian. Let's just touch in a little bit on the Jack and Lily case. All right. Little recap for everybody. You know, the parents were home. Jack and Lily was in the house with his mom and stepdad, and they slept in, and the kids allegedly went out this back door that makes no noise into the yard, and they just vanished. Okay. Now, I heard on this other channel last night, be a matter of fact, that they identified the boot print. Has anybody heard this? If you have it in chat, press 1. But I don't know how credible the channel is, right? Because they said that this boot print did not match Jack or Lily, that it was a boot that was sold to pipeline workers called a Cortez. Has anybody seen that video?
Let's not forget Beth has stated he has only 4 times and also taken a big good fun.
My headphones are skipping so bad. That's how bad the mixer's working. That is terrible. Let's not forget that Seth has stated he has only searched 4 times and also taken a big GoFundMe. If it was my kid, I'd be out every day. Yes, he searched 4 times. He raised probably, I'm going to say allegedly, he raised $25,000 I know of on the GoFundMe, and he posted his Cash App everywhere. So let's just say he roughly took $50,000 in and never offered a reward to anybody. Okay, never offered a reward for a child. Not only did we had to wait for the FBI to put a reward out on Sebastian. Now there's some other idiots, and let me repeat this when I say idiots. I mean fucking idiots. We got 455 likes and 855 in the chat. All right, guys, y'all gonna get me killed by PJ. She will not feed me, okay, if I don't get at least 1,000 likes. That means I don't get to eat tonight. And it's Friday night, okay? Y'all don't want me starving. I look like a crackhead when I'm skinny. I'll be looking like Daniel. We don't need that. Dolly got to eat, okay? So y'all got to at least like the video, all right? Just like it so PJ will feed me. Because I don't get 1,000 likes. I don't get to eat. You ever notice all my videos has 1,000 likes? That's because I make people like it so I can eat. She will not feed me. She beats me. You know what I'm saying? And it's terrible. Like, you got to hook it up, all right? Unless y'all want me abused, then we ain't friends. If you consider yourself a friend of Dolly and don't want me homeless and fed, y'all need to like the video, okay? So, like I was saying, I've seen this video about these boots, and they're saying the boots don't match, and Malehya gave a written statement to her lawyer that said, this is a real tip. Thank you for, you know, I just found it to be like these channels be lying, okay? I don't know where the hell they get this information at, but anybody else hear that or see that video? A little diet wouldn't hurt you. You better stop it. You better stop it. All right. You know, just because I put on a couple pounds don't mean nothing. I needed that. All right. That's because it's windy here and you don't want the wind blowing me away. All right. I look better fat. I like being chubby. Dolly ain't got millionaire friends like Durwood does. I wish I had some millionaire friends. That would be great. If somebody could loan me like $1 million, that, you know, that would be awesome. Okay, I'll have a new mixer. I know that. I'd have a new mixer. So anyway, I don't know if that video was true about them matching the boot print, but they said the boot print wasn't his. I only listen to Michelle After Dark. Okay. I just watch her dogs. I don't really listen to what she says. I just like her dogs. Okay. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Michelle's a good channel, right? She's a good channel. So these kids didn't run away, right? There's no signs of the kids in the woods. $1 million. Sharks and with some laser beams too. Okay. Some sharks with laser beams would be nice. But there's no signs of these kids in the woods. And I truly believe the pink blanket was planted. Okay. Dolly, when is your live with Sunny? I hit her up and see if she could do 8 o'clock tonight. So sometime tonight, soon as she's able to do it, we'll do that one. Right now I'm just touching in on it. I'm not going over every detail of the Jack and Lily stuff because I will be doing that with It's a Crime and Shame later tonight. So probably around 8 o'clock after me and PJ go get dinner and do what we got to do. And I'll come back, do the stream with her. And yeah, so around my normal time that I do my show. But I usually do it at 10, but I want to do it a little bit earlier, right, than 10 because I think we want people to hear it, right? And everybody goes to bed early. Ain't a big deal because people usually watch my replays anyway. We got a lot of replay gang out here, but I want people to watch it live. So you're great just the way you are as long as you're happy. All y'all gotta do is like the video, right? And then I get to eat, right? If y'all don't like it, no dinner for Dolly tonight. You do me dirty, doing me dirty, right? So I believe the pink blanket was planted. I believe these kids may have been wrapped up in some sweaters because it's odd that he said that. Okay. The police say there's no signs of abduction. They never put out an Amber Alert. Sonny also covers Sebastian. Okay, that's cool. Well, we ain't going to be covering Sebastian tonight. We're going to just be straight on the Jack and Lily stuff. Try to cover every little detail, every rumor, everything that's been said, all that good stuff, right? I'm just doing an overview of it right now. So, speaking of which, let me hit my drink real quick. But that blanket was found next to an ATV trail. All right. 904 likes. See, you guys are all right. You guys are all right. Y'all don't want me starving to death. That's what I'm talking about. So, you know, and we know that they were riding around, the brother and Daniel were both riding around on that ATV that day. How did the blanket get out of the alleged trash can? Remember, it was thrown away according to Daniel. Now we got to remember, Daniel's the one putting all the information out, and he's a liar. Okay, he's a liar. That blanket may have never been in the trash can. We're going off of what he says. What he says, right? On a lot of this. And if he lied to the police, which we know he did, because he's telling different stories now than he told to the police originally, we know he's telling that's bullshit. There's pictures of the ATV there when they interviewed him. He was definitely like, I don't believe nothing Daniel says. So don't be like, no, Dolly, no, Dolly. Because you're believing a liar. I don't believe shit he says. Okay? Nothing. The man is in the bathroom solving math problems. Okay? 2 + 2 equals, you don't know where your kids are at. I don't believe shit he says. So anybody taking information from this man is foolish. He is a suspect in the disappearance of 2 beautiful children. I don't believe shit he says. I don't believe shit Durwood says. I don't believe shit that none of them say. None of them. I don't even believe the RCMP. I don't believe any of these people. Somebody's responsible for the disappearance of these kids. And when you tell Miss, if you lie one time and I catch you in a lie, I will all of you. Somebody says, did PJ get a hold of your face, Dolly? She did. See the red mark above my eye right there? No, it's right here. No, that was a big zit. I woke up with it. I was like, damn, like a tumor growing off the side of my head. I thought I was growing an extra head right there. Can y'all see that? It's all red. What the hell? The salt I'm carrying around is getting heavy. Yeah, so here's the thing. He pushed this narrative that she was at the end of the driveway. I thought she was in bed. She was asleep. How the story changed from she went to sleep to now she's at the end of the driveway, passing the kids off to people. The mama seen it. I don't believe any of that. And I encourage you guys out there with any sense not to believe any of it either. If they're making it be like the babies are on a reservation building teepees right now, whittling flutes, that shit ain't happening. Okay, I live in the real world. Okay, I don't know where some people live, but it must be deep space somewhere. But that shit ain't happening. These kids are not on a native reservation. These kids wasn't handed off. These people are drug addicts. In my opinion, I knew there was some drugs going on, right? And we heard it right from Malehya's stepsister. They all math teachers, right? Right? So you got, when we know, what are the most functional homes? Ones that are filled with drugs. Right? Most drug addicts don't give a shit about their kids. Some drug addicts do. Some people are on drugs and still good parents. They just got drug problem. But, you know, when it comes to their kids, they take care of their kids and then they go out and get high. But a lot of drug addicts, the first people that suffer are their kids. And I think this is a case like that. And listen, when you get on these drugs, you get irritated really quick. Okay? Look at Chris Benoit. Anybody know who that is? Anybody know who Chris Benoit is? Anybody? He used to do the crossface crippler. He was in the WWE, and he was just on steroids. He goes home and murders his whole family and himself. Drugs, that rage, and you get angry quick, and like, you know, when you up for days at a time, and then when you do crash, you crash so hard. So, like I said, I wouldn't believe anything that came out of nobody's mouth that was on that property. So Janie, that don't want to talk to grandma, right? Daniel, he's talking, but he's talking too much. He's adding things. He's trying to create a diversion. They try to take the blame off themselves from the very beginning, right? From the very beginning. You heard malehya, oh, well, they're special needs. They'll talk to anybody. They'll get in the car with anybody. Daniel, oh yeah, they have autism and they'll get in the car with anybody. They'll talk to anybody. They're outgoing kids. So they wanted you to believe these kids were kidnapped in the very beginning. From the very first thing out their mouth. It's usually you would be like, I think my kids might have went into the woods. We're going to go look for them. In 2 years, them kids have never walked out that door and vanished. But this day, they did. All right. I still say get the hell. I don't know about if they're inbred or not. I don't know about all that. I don't think they're kin. I don't think malehya and Daniel are kin to each other. But I don't believe them. And Daniel still to this day in the public, not on YouTube, but to the media, leave malehya alone, her mental health and blah, blah, blah. But then when he gets online, he's like, yeah, she hid the baby. She's this, she's that. And he still thinks there's hope that malehya is going to get back with him. Oh, hell no. She been moved on from Daniel. I wouldn't be surprised if she ain't got a boo on the side. And she wanted out. She wanted out of that relationship. Clearly. All right? Because people don't do that when their kids go missing. Usually tragedy bring people closer together. It don't usually rip families, slam apart, and they start blaming each other for killing the kids. You got an effed up family if that's the case, right? Worst mom ever. Now, day one, I think she's worse than Katie Proudfoot, right? If we put malehya Brooks next to Katie Proudfoot, I would say she's 10 times worse, maybe 100 times worse than Katie Proudfoot. Okay. Katie Proudfoot's missing a 15-year-old teenager, 16 now. Okay. Shit, going on 17. He's almost a grown ass man. This woman's missing a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. 2 kids. She Joe Dirt's them day one. Okay, day one. Katie waited a week before she left town. Okay, she hung out for a few minutes. She did a few interviews. This woman did 1 interview and left on day one. She stayed long enough to do that interview and she was out. If that shit don't set off red flags to you, nothing sets off red. You just might as well leave true crime and find another sport. Okay, because this sport of true crime is not for you if it don't set off. This woman is another Leilani Simon, another Casey Anthony, just a mother that don't give a damn. All right. And you see people in the chat talking about worst mom ever. I agree with you 125%. And what do we got to wait? Just like all these other cases, like Sebastian, everybody that believed he was alive, here we are 2 years later. Where's the child at? Okay. Well, 1.5 years later, where's the child at? Not to be found. Not one sighting of them. Okay. Nothing. And like I said, we got idiots that latched onto this case. Right? Idiots. And the Sebastian Rogers case. And I'm surprised that hasn't happened in the Jack and Lily case. Like, we have this intelligence agency that put out this fake reward. We had a washed up dried, blonde haired, looked like straw with some Indian feathers strapped in that shit, looking for this kid, but not looking, you know, issuing all this fake money and turned it into a complete clown show. Dudes playing with their monkeys, talking about how much they care about Sebastian. Crazy ass woman following people around. This turned it into a complete shit show. A dude, you know, I don't even want to get on TikTok, Tony. Oh my God, that is unbelievable right there. And then you got Seth's fucking sloth ass. I don't even know what to say about that case anymore. You know, what they try to do is they try to run everybody away from the case. And sometimes you got to ask yourself, why? Why do they don't want people involved? Why do they not want the truth out there? Why is nobody searching for this child? Right? Why ain't the families out looking? Like you heard Daniel say, I'm going to search to forever. Right? Forever. How long did forever last? A couple days? Is tumbleweed hair. Yeah, tumbleweed hair. It's like a Western movie and shit. Gunslingers going to run out. That little piece of hair patch blow by. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me going. Don't get me going. I even blocked it so you can't say the name in the room so people couldn't trigger me. Okay. So you can't even say the name in my chat. It's in my block list. Try typing it in. Try it. You can't even say it. It's been placed on the banned words. Yeah, go ahead. You don't believe me? Try typing it in. Try Jimmy. Try typing that shit into the channel. Watch what happens. All right, your shit gonna get blocked. It's gonna be like, yeah, nope, on the ban list. You can put monkey boy. You can put tumbleweed head. You can put all those things. You just can't put the name of that channel in my chat room. I don't mess with people that ain't legit channels. Right? If you ain't legit corpse, you can put makeup corpse. Okay. You can put makeup corpse. Don't get me in trouble, people. Don't get me in trouble. You know, PJ abuses me. All right. I say the wrong thing. I don't care how many likes I get, right? It don't even matter at that point. I tried because you said, I told you, right? People are trying to trigger me and make me be mean when I don't want to be mean to people, okay? Mortuary. Oh, maiden. Listen. Dead people have rights too, okay? They have rights to play with monkeys and wear makeup, do whatever they want to live in their best dead life. You know, The Walking Dead, whatever. We see if we can get them on the next season. No clue. Okay, but just the point of, you know, these people that ain't real. You know, their face ain't real. Their hair ain't real. Their YouTube channel ain't real. I see you, PJ. I see. I'm shutting up. I'm just saying, nothing. Your name ain't real. Your information ain't real. Nothing's real. Okay, nothing. All right. I just can't. I can't mess with those people. Okay, there's no room for that in true crime. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. Somebody shouldn't even brought it up. I think I brought it up. But because it goes to the point of these leeches, I call them like true crime leeches. Okay. Tragedy leeches. That's a better word. Tragedy leeches. They leech onto these people and they act like they're their best friends. Okay, I'm over it today. Me and Ava are going out to eat without you. See, now I'm not getting fed. I knew it was going to happen. I knew I was working on my dinner. But there's these tragedy leeches, not to talk about tumbleweed head or monkey boy or corpse, makeup corpse. I like makeup corpse. That is a good one. That is really good. Just hashtag that makeup corpse. Okay. Um, Tell it, Dolly. But these people, they leech on to people and become their best friends, and then they start pushing narratives, right? We seen Bullhorn Batshit did the same thing. Okay. And listen, these people ain't stupid. Right? They ain't stupid. They knew Tony was bad, right? But they didn't care that he was bad. They wanted clicks and views, right? Makeup corpses. They wanted these clicks and views so bad that they would team up with somebody they knew was a fraud. Just like they teamed up with the intelligency people and dogged the damn couldn't find his car keys. Okay. They didn't care about it. All they cared about was some views. They didn't care about this kid or this kid being found at all. Right? If they did, they wouldn't be pushing false narratives. They wouldn't team up with fraud ass people. Why I look like I'm asleep froze on the screen. RuPaul wannabe. I didn't say that. Okay. Mute it, Dolly. 100. Okay, hold on. I'm froze on the screen. Let's see if I come back. They didn't even know his name. That was terrible. Little Timmy's in the whale, right? He called the kid Timmy. How do you go from Sebastian to Timmy? Hold on. I mean, didn't even get the name close. All right. I mean, how horrible is that on a missing kid? You messed up the kid's name, but the first thing you say is talk about your book. Oh, I got this new book coming out, and we're going to make sure we find little Timmy. Sean, the father. I mean, at least he was close. Sean, Seth, they both start with an S, right? But the whole Timmy's in the whale. How embarrassing is that? How embarrassing. Like, bro. Now we know why they canceled the show. Okay. Now we know. Was it the racist things he kept saying? Right? Now he preaches you to death. Now he's pastor fucking. He wants to be a pastor. Everything's about Jesus. And listen, you can't stop your lying. Okay. I think people see through fake people, right? Seth the Sloth is listen, Seth is missing. TikTok Tony is missing. We got an APB on the whole family. Okay. They're all missing right now. They're vacationing. They're playing a game of ass grab. I don't know what they're doing. They got a bromance. I heard Tony was leaving his wife for Seth. I don't know. That could just be rumors. I'm not quite sure. They just kind of vanished. They kind of just gave up. Quitters. No, dog's not missing. He's living his best life, trying to marry everybody. I don't know what's up with that dude, right? But autograph sessions are more important these days. Let me show up, whoever will pay me, and I'll show up and sign, a few things and his. I don't know. I to me, he destroyed Leslie. To me, what I thought of him, because I thought highly of him before Sebastian Rogers case. I did. I thought about him. But when he started dabbling his head and then nothing on it, and that he made Hello. All right. Can everybody hear me? Everybody hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Thank you, Nova Scotia. Yes, y'all can hear me. Okay. Am I robotic or anything? My mixer completely sucks. I believe I paid $600 for that mixer and it's dying. Okay. We may have to have a Dolly fundraiser come up here soon, or I ain't gonna be able to live stream without no microphone. Because the microphone I have don't plug directly into my computer. You got to plug it into a mixer first and then into the computer. So you're all good. So when this mixer finally dies, I have no audio, and it keeps cutting out, and I don't know how much longer honestly it's going to last. Hopefully it don't do this tonight when we go over the Jack and Lily case. I'm going to try to I don't know what I'm going to do, but hopefully everything works. You sound great. Yeah, because when you reset it and it first comes on, it's good. After it runs a few minutes, several issues are having issues today. No, it's my mixer. It ain't YouTube. It's my equipment. It's been doing it a lot. And the only time it's the universe telling you to shut the F up. Maybe. What was I saying? Oh, just about bad people involved in these cases. What happened to Sebastian Rogers? Okay. February 26th, the same day Maddie Soto went missing. Katie Proudfoot's in the house with Sebastian Rogers. Okay. I was talking about all of them. And he just vanishes without a trace. Now, I have been to Sebastian Rogers' house. The neighborhood he lives in is a really when you start talking about corpses, things die. Okay, right? I had to put some corpse makeup on my mixer, right? A couple band-aids. So you go to his neighborhood, it's a nice neighborhood. Houses start at $700,000. Okay, so way nicer. You can't silence the dolly, right? You can't. All right. I should be back. I should have audio. I don't know how long it's going to last. Okay. Really no picture or sound. Okay. Like I said, the mixer may be going out. I'm going to try to later fix everything. If not tonight, I will do my stream from my laptop, so we don't have these issues. Dolly Stevie Wonder said you're something. Yay, you're back. Stevie Wonder said you got issues. Okay, well, jump on the Dolly train. We're going to need it. Okay, we're going to need it. This sucks. This bad timing because I got so much going on, right? To have to replace this sucks. Like can't hear. You can't hear it all. I'm scared to turn the mixer up because if I turn it up, it might go out. So can y'all hear me? Let me move this mic closer. I can. I hear you fine. Okay, we hear you. All right. Now you're great. Okay. Now it made me forget where I was at. I was touching in on the Sebastian Rogers stuff. I remember that. Yes, we hear you. Okay. Okay. I can see and hear. All right. You're fine. Okay. So, like I said, Sebastian Rogers was in his home, vanishes without a trace with his mother there. The neighborhood, the houses start at about $700,000. Most of the houses around there have cameras, but Sebastian wasn't caught on one camera. No sightings of him. Hasn't been seen at all. Now, his area is not like heavily wooded. Okay. His neighborhood, there's a little bit of woods, but not really thick woods, right? There's little patches of woods around there. Now, across from his house is a little more wooded, but still not like heavy, dense forest. We're talking patches of trees, little small sections of woods, nothing like hugely massive like we're dealing with in Nova Scotia. So somebody says she killed him, his mother. Listen, we don't know what she did. We have our suspicions, right? And you got to remember, all these people are innocent to proven guilty in a court of law, truly are. And it don't look like there's going to be any charges brought against the Proudfoot. Okay. It don't look like any charges. We've at a point, a year and a half, if they ain't brought charges against them, or if they don't have nothing on them in a year and a half, what makes you think they're going to have anything on them in the future? So if they did commit a crime, Chris and Katie, they got away with it. All right. And it's starting to look like if, even in the Summer Wells case, if Don and Candace for a mixer, thank you. Go ask Alex. That'll go right to that, because we ain't got no choice. We got to get another mixer. And it sucks because this is a really good one too. But I've been using it for 2 years. It lasted 2 years, 2 good years. I was hoping to get 10 out of it. And it's crazy because I take super good care of it. Like, I've never spilt nothing on it. I don't put stuff near it. Like, I don't know. Maybe it overheated or something because it's all digital. It's not like a old school mixer. It's like a digital mixer that hooks to your computer. And then because my mic plugs into the mixer, I don't have no way to plug this mic straight into my computer. So I may have to try some other stuff later. I'm not quite sure until if it does go out, let's just pray to God that, I can't reset this 3 times a show like I have already. I done reset the computer 3 different times to get through an hour and a half. Right. So Thank you. Go ask Alice. Change my face, but I still love you all. Okay. So I don't believe Sebastian ran away from that house. I believe he was taken out of that house. This is just my belief. We know that night that Sebastian Rogers went missing, Katie Proudfoot was parked in the garage. And then shortly after Sebastian Rogers went missing, she no longer parked in the garage. It was odd. Why would you park in the garage when you have such a huge driveway? Now, they got a driveway you could fit 10 cars in. Why would you go for the hassle of opening and closing the garage when you got a big driveway? She didn't park her work van in there, right? The work van you think got tools and stuff like that in it, expensive things for working her security job. She didn't park that in the garage, but yet she parks her car with probably nothing of value in it in the garage. You're out again, Dolly? That made today are not as faithful as it was 20 years ago or more. All these poor babies were failed. Do we have audio? Do we have audio here? I hear you. Okay. You're okay, Dolly. Okay, well, that person scared me. They said I was out again. You're fine. Okay. So, and you know, for this kid, kids just don't vanish. Right? They just don't vanish. They just don't disappear on their own. Something has to happen to make these kids disappear. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm hoping everything's okay, right? I hear you good right now. Awesome. Awesome. That's good to know. I don't have my mic up very loud. I have it halfway down. Hopefully it'll stay like this and not cut in and out. If you don't have sound, go out and come back in. Accident and cover up. Well, you know, she did say she heard a thud that day, and a lot of people believe that was slippage. That, you know, she slipped out and said, well, I heard this thud. But she never went and checked on him. And then the next time she told the story, she said, is everything okay in there? And he's like, yeah, Mom, I love you and the dogs. So she added to the story, right, of what happened. Now, you would think if you heard you got a special needs son and you hear a thud in his room, you would go check out to see what it was. But she didn't do that. She didn't go check on him at all, which is weird. But when she woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, the first thing she does is check on him. But she didn't check on him that whole night prior to that. But all of a sudden at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're super concerned and you instantly call the police or you instantly panic. Well, she didn't instantly call the police. She called Chris first. I love you and the dogs are an added on. Okay. They might be behind the chat. Thank you. My Dolly's tip jars. Right. So, you know, the bad thing about the whole system messing up is it takes days to get anything. So it'll put me down this weekend if I can't get everything running at least good enough for it to, you know, this weekend. But worst case scenario is I'll drop all the green screen stuff and I'll stream from my laptop and everything should work, or my phone. It's just the only thing then is I can't take phone calls, which a lot of times I don't take phone calls anyway. So like I could probably do the night show from my laptop, which I'll run, you know, I don't want no, I kind of want to be able to show videos. So I want to be able to do it from my studio, you know, cause it sucks if I can't play videos. You're good on your end. Yeah. It's been holding up. So, you know, now everybody's gone quiet in the Sebastian Rogers case. The last we seen was Seth, you know, begging them to do their job, But I think it's pretty much over. You know, they only going to do so much for so long until they move on to other things. And I think in the Sebastian Rogers case, that's exactly what has happened. They've moved on to other things. And the only hope we have for Sebastian, if he wasn't buried, is a hunter, somebody on horseback, or somebody walking their dog stumbles across his remains. Yeah, Dolly looks healthy. I got to stay that way. Okay? I got to stay that way. I'm trying to anyway. I'm saying I don't believe he said that. I don't either. I think that she heard a thud and she never checked on him. The conversation between the two of them, I believe she made up, because in the beginning she didn't say none of that. She said that she heard a thud. She didn't check on him. She was reading a book, studying, and talking to Chris Proudfoot on the phone at the same time. And I don't believe her story. I definitely don't believe her story. So I believe there's some type of altercation that took place in that house. Or just like Seth said when he took the lie detector test, that she over medicated him. And the thud may have been him hitting the floor. And then she panicked, called Chris. And then they were on the phone for 3 hours. I believe that 3 hours was to build an alibi for Sebastian. Just like in the Jack and Lily case, they had that whole night to come up with a story, right? Because we know they were alive the day before, and up until 8 o'clock. But after 8 o'clock, we don't know what happened. But they had all night to come up with a story. Oh, the kids will talk to anybody. The kids ran away. And that's why it seemed so scripted, because it was. And just like the Katie Proudfoot story seemed it very scripted. Oh, she slipped up and said something. Oh, I don't know why he would have went out that door. I woke him up for school, but he wasn't there. Right? Like, who says that? What the hell's that? How'd you wake him up if he won't there? She said things that didn't completely even make sense, like inconsistent statements. And we heard a lot of inconsistent statements in Jack and Lily, in both of them, right? So similar behaviors between Katie Proudfoot and Malehya Brooks. She packed up and left too. Somebody owns the Golden Gate Bridge. It's in their backyard. Okay. You want to sell it? I know some people that'll buy it. 3 hours in, a long time on the phone with your boyfriend, husband. Okay. They're married. Chris and Katie are married. 3 hours, and they had been married 7 years at the time, right? I can understand you just got together and you're talking for 3 hours, but you've been together for 7 years and you're talking on the phone for 3 hours at a time. I don't buy that. Reggie Be Good says she did something to that boy. I agree with you 100%. Now, I want to test something. I want to see if my mixer will play a video. I'll just try this video. It seems like it's not skipping now, so hopefully everything will work fine for tonight, but I'll have a backup plan just in case.
It's kind of hard to believe he hasn't been seen.
Y'all can hear that?
Then. But that is the case. Sebastian vanished from his mother's home on February 26th. His father says he still has hope he'll be found.
The goal is still the same. Find Sebastian. He needs to be found and brought home to a home that loves him.
Sebastian's 16th birthday was last weekend, and police say that they're still actively investigating this case, and they're not deeming it a cold case as of now. I have a special guest I want to welcome onto the program now. You know her and love her, retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffindeffer. She also, by the way, has her own brand new YouTube show called Break the Case. It is awesome. Be sure to check it out. Okay, Jennifer, good morning to you.
Does it sound like it's skipping to y'all too? This is horrible. Let me see if I cut it down. Will it skip? Is it skipping for you guys?
You were one of the first people to follow this case. I love following.
Damn it. No, it ain't. It's skipping for me on my end. All I hear is skipping. Like it's skipping.
When you on Twitter, and I remember seeing you were doing the missing person tweets as you always do, and have continued to follow every single development. Looking at this, as it is hard to not have emotion in it because your heart just breaks for this family, this teenager. Where do you think the investigation is likely to go from here? Does it go anywhere?
Well, Julie, looking at this tape, and I've had it for so long, I just didn't release it until it was released by others. But essentially what I was looking for were the reactions of the mom, of course, Sebastian's actions. One of the things, a couple of things I noticed is his eating style, I thought, was very interesting. It was like he hadn't been fed in a week. I'm not saying he hadn't been fed in a week. I'm just saying the way he eats was very, aggressive. He was just constantly eating. What I also noticed from the mother was her staring around, looking around, almost like she was on surveillance for someone. In addition, she was on her phone such a large percentage of the time, seemingly not really engaged with Sebastian. These were just a couple of takeaways. Julie, I also looked at
I think she was looking for the waitress because, hey, Summer's Army, when I go to places like this, I'm always looking around too, like, where's the damn waitress at? Why ain't they bring my food? As a matter of fact, me and PJ went to Texas Roadhouse the other day, and I ordered some chili, and I told the lady, I said, well, I want the chili before my food. So the lady didn't bring me my refill, and then she brought me my food and never even brought the chili. I said, I never got my chili before my food. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll bring you chili now. But the thing is, I wanted my chili before my food. Like, a little appetizer before my food. And I was looking around the same way. And I don't, kids eat like that. Like, some kids just slam food down like it ain't nothing. At that age, you'll scarf down that shit like it's, like it's nothing.
People around. Was anybody watching them? And there's other film footage that I've personally viewed that might give some credence to somebody else watching them.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
It's good here too. It stopped skipping. So hopefully if I don't mess with anything and y'all can hear everything okay out there, then I'll just leave everything alone and hopefully everything will work tonight.
Jenn, and thank you for pointing that out, because as I'm watching it, and look, I'm not an investigator as you are, that was the first thing that jumped out was her head's going every which way. She's sitting there with her son, and like you said, she's not engaging him. And just to kind of back up and reiterate, to digest this more, in what you've seen other people looking at them too? Did it seem like they were trying to find each other? Like, is she looking for someone, I wonder? What do you think, Jennifer?
Well, yes, in other footage that I've seen, I haven't released it. It's not for me to release. But I think that there may be some questions now regarding somebody possibly looking at them, certainly not acting appropriate. And I'm sure that will be released soon. And when you put it in conjunction with how Katie Proudfoot is acting, it just adds up to something that doesn't make a lot of logical sense.
Sure. Jennifer, this has me wondering, did he even go back to the house? Do we have any confirmation that he ever made it back to the house? Because he's said to have, he's reported missing from the house, supposedly in the middle of the night, wanders off. And now I'm I'm just wondering about that. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, please.
Well, I think, unfortunately, we're so reliant on what Katie Proudfoot has to say. She's the last person to see him. She's the only one with him. She's the one that makes the report. We're so reliant on that. And I've also found it very interesting, that she works for a video recording company, and meaning, home security type
don't answer
company.
the question.
And yet we have no home security footage. At least that we know of Sebastian Rogers coming, going. There's, very little, let me say. And I've always found that very much to be an oxymoron, Julie.
Sure.
She completely didn't answer the question, but for me, I'll answer it for you. Is there proof that he came home? All right. I would say we don't know, but his clothes and his shoes were there. The clothes he's wearing are accounted for in the video. Okay. The Baby Yoda shirt, the jeans, and his tennis shoes that he is wearing was accounted for. They were at the house. So if he didn't make it back to the house, his clothes did. Okay. Unless she handed him off somewhere naked, but his clothes were accounted for. Everything that he was wearing was at the house. When he got to the house, allegedly he put on black sweatpants and a black long sleeve shirt, but they did have his shoes, his pants, and his shirt at that house. So either she stripped him down naked or he made it back home. I truly believe he made it back home. Okay. And then whatever happened transpired after that. Was he hyped up? Would he not go to bed? Did they get in an altercation? Did she medicate him? Something happened in that home. And whatever it wasn't a bloody crime scene. Okay. Because they used luminol. They searched the house thoroughly and found no signs of foul play. But listen, there's a lot of ways to die where you don't bleed. Okay. You could be medicated. You could be suffocated, and there wouldn't be no traces of a crime. It ain't like, well, we found a hair. He lives there. You're going to find these things, fingerprints. You're going to find those things. They all live there. All that's going to be there. But what they didn't find is blood. And that's what they were looking for. And they didn't find that. So there's no blood. There's no signs of foul play. There's been no arrest in over a year and a half. It's pretty much at this point a cold case. It sucks to say that, but I knew this in the beginning that it was going to come to this. I knew the Sebastian Rogers case would be a lot harder to solve than, like, say, Jack and Lily. There should have already been an arrest in Jack and Lily. Okay. Luminol was used. The police said they thoroughly searched the house, used all measures of forensics to test for bodily fluids and all that. They even had dogs in the house. So Sebastian, if he died in that house, it wasn't a bloody death. Okay. FKKP. Yeah, there's not much to go on. So say if you was to arrest him today, you really don't have no evidence that a crime was committed. I mean, he's 15 years old. Usually runaways at 15 don't get no attention on the media. Okay. There's a million runaways right now that are 15 years old and you've never heard about them on the news. Never. Right. The only reason you hearing about Sebastian is because he was special needs and Riley Strand went missing at the same time. And it kind of rolled over into that because Riley Strand was a big deal. And then it kind of pushed over into this. You got it. What does that say? I missed it. Chat's moving so fast. I see Dolly Law. You got it. Detective Dolly. Poor dear Sebastian reminds me of my son. I think Jay told S to go back to the body to move it, but the body was still in rigor mortis and he couldn't get it in the car. So he put her back. Anyway, the gate was locked, but then S was afraid. Linda, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You've been watching one of them crazy channels. All right. Have you been watching Tumbleweed Corpse? Okay. I don't know what the hell you watching, woman. Dolly, you sure are good at this. I mean, it's what I do. Okay. I'm good at my job. So, as soon as I said that, my phone vibrated. I know what that means. But anyway, he was taken away from that home. That's why there was no dog trail, right? Some people still believe the dogs tracked. According to the head investigator, dogs never tracked. Dolly's a professional, people. Thank you, GPS. Thank you. They needed to know that, all right? They needed to know how professional I am, okay? I be on these cases quick, like the gingerbread man, all right? I know we don't agree on this, but I still think he was lured out of the house because of no evidence of a crime in the house. Bobby Pin, they have his phone, they have his laptop, and there's no evidence of that. To be lured out, he would have to have some type of communication. They had the call logs from the phones. Okay, they took Katie and Chris's phones, used Celebrate technology, the same as they did in Karen Reed, the same as they did in Stephan Stearns. There's a basic protocol of what to do, and they followed that protocol. If somebody would have contacted Sebastian, they would have some type of proof of a phone call, ingoing or outgoing call. He was not lured out of that house. He was taken out of that house because there was no calls and there's no communication on his communication devices. How would he know to come out the house? He wouldn't. So unless somebody came to his window, you know, and knocked on the window and said, hey, come out the house. I mean, that's possible. You don't need to be lured when your mom can put you in the trunk, right? Yeah, I believe he left that house that morning because cameras would have picked the car up leaving that night. If she would have took him out of the house that night, when she went to look for him, I believe that's when she went and hid him. That's why she didn't call the police and Chris did. Because on that three-way call, there's no way for them to track where Katie was. Only Chris, because he made the call. So there's no way to tell where she was at and for how long she was there. Somebody said that sounded like monkey talk. It sounded like, so I believe she may have took him out of that house that morning, and all she had to do was get him out of the 5-mile radius. That's it. And then somebody could have went back and moved him after that. So maybe he was moved more than once, like a lot of people believe Summer Wells was. A lot of people believe that Summer Wells was originally placed somewhere, and then later on somebody went back and moved little Summer Wells. And, you know, what is it? The Gannon moved multiple times. Harmony Montgomery moved multiple times. So many times we don't even know where she's at, right? But she was moving. She was in a refrigerator at a pizza shop at one point. So they may have possibly moved this child more than once. You know, so that's the scary thing. And if you got that type of time, hide them until you got a little more time to operate, you know, to do things, and then bury the child. It's hard to find people underground. How often do you see them digging up lost people? You don't. So once you make it into the dirt, they get you in the ground somewhere and nobody knows, the odds of somebody finding you is slim to none. Okay, look, I'm going to wrap up. PJ's here. I'm going to try to rewire my mixer and try to get everything fixed. I'll be back live with you guys later. And then, of course, tonight we're going to be going over the Jack and Lily stuff. So make sure y'all tune in for that. All right? Be good. Remember this. Dolly loves you. Peace.